Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel where today we're going to talk about an EA that some might have forgotten. We haven't. It has running in the background all the time, and it actually just passed now 400 trading days. So we thought it was worthwhile doing this particular EA, just explaining again what it is it does, because it is a bit of a novelty in here. It's sort of kind of a set and forget EA. And it's simply taking over. You don't have to do too many optimizations. You don't have to do too many changes. And yet, as you can see, the results is quite clear. 400 days of trading, which is long enough to figure out if this one is actually true or not. The profit on one of the two accounts that we are running, because we are running two sets of currency pairs. Biggest one here has just hit 200% profit also, so which is quite well. But also one of the things to notice in here is the winning rate is above 75%, which is quite unusual for most EAs. Anything above 60% is normally quite well. So 75 is high. It's taking over quite nicely. And obviously, as you can also see in here, it's done a profit of $20,000, meaning that 400 days ago, we put this particular one on an account with $10,000. This at the time was a demo account, and it's been taking over since. But people have been making money off this because it's part of the coupling service, it's part of the signals that we have provided to Expert Forex. And that also means that a lot of people have actually figured this out is a very good idea. But I think still this is definitely worth having a look at, because a lot more people should have a closer look at this one. And what we are talking about here, you can find it on our website. And we are talking about the Trade Explorer here today. Trade Explorer, it has two different ways of running, one with a 22 pair and one with a 10 pair. So in today's video, we're going to go through the website itself. We're going to go through also some of the videos that we have in here. So when you go on our site, you can see the individual videos that we have made at the time. Some of them actually cover the way things are being traded, other ones how you can set it up, and third ones are basically on the profit side. We're going to take a big view of all of this in today's video and show you exactly what you can expect. If you either want to buy this particular one, we can provide you with a 5% discount if you use this particular coupon code here, or you can simply also go and use the coupling service in here through Expert Forex. You will have basically a chance to look through this particular video here and decide what you want to do afterwards. So let's get into it, and we'll try and show you everything from A to Z summed up in this nice little video today. Now, apart from our YouTube videos, the High Tech Investment website here is one of the best places to actually go and get information. Many times when I get questions from different viewers, telling them please go to the website because everything is summed up pretty nicely in one place. Obviously here you can find our latest news report that basically covers most of the profits, losses, whatever it is, information from week to week. And you can also see the latest recommended videos that we have for you. So last week was the RSI PAM account explained video. And then further down here, you can find also the individual accounts. So you can go straight to what you're looking for. Otherwise, you simply go to the portfolio of opportunities in here, and that will take you over to that particular site again, where when you scroll down, you'll find yourself with the Trade Explorer in here. It will also provide you with a different update on what exactly it does. And how many currencies. Here it says 23 currency pairs. We are actually only running 22. Depends on the broker that you have things set up with. And in our case, the first one we set up was actually IG Brokers. And one of the currency pairs in there was not available at the time. So, but you can find more details on it. It will also tell you and explain exactly what currency pairs that you can trade. You can obviously decide for yourself also if you want to trade them all or not. We're going to have a closer look at that later on in the video when we're going to dissect some of the results in here. The next part, which is very important, and we always use that for the news report, is we have the individual weeks also coming out, and we are posting that every single week. This is taken directly from the FXBlue websites. And if we have a quick look on the last week, we can see the Trade Explorer 22 pairs made $210 or 2.1%. and the 10 pair one made $222 or 2.2%. So obviously it did quite well. And also recent numbers similar here, 241, 320. If we go further back, $125, 1.3%, 10 pairs, 206 or 2.1%. And then for week 21, again, very good week here, $271, 2.8%, or the 10 pair one did 427 or 4.3. So obviously nice results week on week. The next part we have in here is basically the videos. So these are the videos that we have made so far with the Trade Explorer. The first one we did was actually the mystery robot in here. So we explain exactly what this EA does, how it actually trades. So if you're interested in understanding how this EA works, how it operates, how it actually makes money, then this particular video here is the one you want to go and see first. And if you want to then buy the particular EA because you find this interesting and profitable, then the second video here, so with how to buy, install and set up, it will show you step by step how things has to be done in order to make sure the EA actually works correctly. Later on, we did the video for the profit blowing in the sales, and obviously very nice profits, not only back then, but also today. So we can have a look at the profits later on in the program when we go through the FXBlue site, the best trading robot ever, because again, normally we always mention here that, well, a set and forget robot, it don't work over long periods of time. Obviously, they have proven us wrong this time around. Leap FX that actually makes the EA in here. So definitely have found some way to basically get it to work week after week, month after month. And also in order to publish your results, or at least track them in a different way than just on the broker's platform, we also told you how to add your publisher EA app, put it on there so you can actually see it. You can even also receive that kind of data on your phone. And then we did also an updated one when the two signals that you're going to see here today join the Expert Forex premium forum, so the coupling service in here. So there's plenty of videos for you to familiarize yourself with if you want to know a bit of the prior history. Further to this, every single month also we are posting, and if we just have a quick look at February here, $500 or 5.1%, 10 pair one did 874 or 8.7%, so quite well. March, also a decent month, 494 or 4.9%, $1,318 or 13%. So that was very good month here. Even better one for April, 757 or 7.6%. 10 pair one did 1,612 or 16%. And then we have for the month of May was a bit lower again with $578 or 5.8%. For the 22 pair, 10 pair one is doing just over $1,000, so 1,048 or 10.5%. Month of May was a bit more on the difficult side. And when June comes in, we will then add that and throw away February, so you constantly have the latest and greatest and updated parts. Down here, we're going to go through the 22 pair account because this one leads to the FXBlue site, and this one also leads to the 10 pair account FXBlue site. If you go further down the website, you can now see the Trade Explorer coupon code also, where you can still get the 5% discount, the 10%. We haven't been able to launch that back. This was done when we did the initial videos back here. Leap FX gave us the opportunity to give you a 10% discount, but we still have the 5% available to you. If you want to buy it after seeing this particular video, you can use that particular link down here, or you can go and have a closer look and basically take our links where you can go to Leap FX. You can go to also my Leap FX book in here, where you can see several results of also developers using their own EA. You can pick through the different results, see how well they've done. And then we also added other parts in here, so like a VPS service, which we normally like to use in order to have high-speed internet and make also sure that the power is stable all the way through. We have a couple of brokers that we have previously used when we are trading this particular one live. So IC Market is definitely one of the ones with very low spreads. Blaze Broker is one of the ones that is recommended by Leap FX. So there's plenty of opportunities to go and have a closer look exactly of how this EA operates, and you can also see how to get started at the end of the day. But we are looking at now the results, trying to dissect all the results here today. But we're going to start off with a 22 pair account and then work our way through the two settings. So the nice part about FXBlue here is it has a nice graphical presentation, easy to see and understand. And at the same time, it also has the individual numbers that we are looking for today. Now, the first one we're actually going to start with is our 22 pair one. It hasn't done as well as the other one, but anyway, it'll give you a very good idea of what's actually going on. So this is link 145C, as you can see up here. So this is actually also for the copy link service. It has the same section also in here. Now, the balance itself, as you can see on the graph here, it's at 10,000. So it started off here, and then it's pretty smooth all the way up here with a couple of very quick profits. And then since then, it has been going quite well. One of the things to note here also is that normally as more money is coming into the account, you will also increase your lot size in order to basically keep the same percentage at all times. But again, this particular account that I'm showing you here today, it is actually running as a copy link service, and that means that we have to keep the lot size the same. We have made an adjustment here for this particular one just in recent weeks because we thought the profit was a bit low when we started to focus on it. And one of the things we can see is obviously the balance is 23,000, so it's done well from the original 10. Equity is slightly lower because we have a floating profit and loss of minus 530 at the moment, so it's actually fairly high compared to what we normally see. Close profits that we have done, 13,143. Free margin, plenty of that, and margin in use. You can see it is our demo account that we are running, but we are getting very similar results on the live trading here also. Total return 126 again. Monthly returns 6.4, and then weekly returns 1.5. As I says, this is gradually going down and down because we're not changing the lot size and the lot factor up against what is actually in the account, but we can still calculate it, and I'll show you that a bit later here on how exactly that works. Trade wins is 77%, so extremely good. Profit factor that we are not really using that much, but it's 1.94. Definitely in this particular case, it's still very good. As you can see, more than 9,000 pips have been taken. And then we have trades per day, about 18 for that particular one. History, as I said, has just surpassed now 400 days. 401 as it shows up in here. And then you can see the risk reward ratios, more than 7. And then it also tells you about the worst day, the worst week. So we made $40 in the worst week, and the worst month we made $494. It tells you about the trade length for this particular one, so 45 hours, average results, average wins, and then average loss. And then you have all the additional parts for the individual currency pairs that is being traded. And there's actually 3 of them in here. What we also want to have a closer look at is how exactly is the equity. So at the end of the day, how does that work? So the blue one, as you can see here, that we followed before, so that is the balance. And then the red one here is the equity curve. You can see it has a couple of dips, especially in the beginning when we set this particular one up. Since then, they have been smaller and smaller. And if we go and have a look at the floating profit and loss and simply just dissect that part from here, you'll see that this was the biggest drawdown we had. Quite a big one on a $10,000 account. Minus $4,409 roughly. Again, this is just a rough estimate. FXBlue is not so good at tracking the exact drawdown, but it's not far from here. Then we also had, and this was back in July, 1,671. And then since then, things have been doing quite well. 1,008, here we have 748, and then 947. And since then, you can see the market has basically been quite nice to this particular EA, and at the moment here it says 461. so it's not being updated at all times. You can see we're at minus 530, but anyway, it is close enough at the moment. If we go and have a look at some of the stats that we have in here, again, the numbers that I just described to you before here with the weekly and monthly returns, still the same, and the history also tells you the equity and the balance, and will also tell you that we started off with a $10,000 account, and then obviously we come to this particular part, which is a bit more interesting. So again, total return 126.8%. And then it will tell you the bank returns, how it's per day, per week, per month. And then if we go further down, you can also see days of winning. We had 303 days of winning, no losing days in here. We have 58 winning weeks and 14 winning months at the end of the day, with closed trades of 5,766. So obviously quite well done all the way through. Obviously you will notice that we have 303 winning days. So you say, okay, but we have actually had this one running for more than 400. What's the difference? Well, the difference is actually the weekend, Saturday and Sunday doesn't count in here. No trading is being done. Have a look at the winners down here. Winning trades 5,766. It made a profit of 27,000 in here. And then the losers was 1,710 trades. And then we dropped about minus 13,948. But overall, all the trades of 7,479 actually made 13,000 in here, 143. So looks pretty good. So the numbers is definitely what we would like to see. Going over to the individual days, you can see when we started this particular EA. So this was back in May, 18th of May. So pretty consistent with about 1 year and a month in here, since we are shooting this in the middle of June. And obviously again, it's cashing in all the time, but we need to have a bigger time frame, and some of the ones are in here. You'll be able to see obviously the amount of trades that is being done on a weekly basis. You'll be able to see the net profits, so 75, 500, 200, 800, 800, 558. And then all of a sudden drops down to 120, 122, 248. So you can see it varies, and all of a sudden we have a week here of 1,087. So quite good. And we can see profit factor and winners. But if we go on the bigger scale and basically have a look at the monthly parts, you'll see from the month of May, it'll cover all the way down to the month of June, which is not over yet. We'll have the trades in here going from the first month, was not a full month. So that was only half a month. So let's skip that one. So about 700, 500, 500, 600. So somewhere around here, well, we drop a bit in February, March. So about 400 to 700 trades is what you can expect per month. The net profits we have in here, the first month, again, was only half a month in here, but then 2,500, 1,700. Then it drops in August, which is normally also a vacation month, so 600, and then comes up again at 1,200, 1,000. And then in November, drops again 1,600. But overall, it's cashing in somewhere on the average of 500, 600, I believe, especially in 2024. And if we have a closer look at the winners in here, so you have the how many winners in numbers, and then you have the winners in percentage here also. And then you can have a look up against the individual. So let's use the percentage in here. So obviously here we're in the 80%, so quite well. And obviously down to 72. So for the individual months in here, it goes somewhere between 72 to 83%. That is what you should expect. And if we have a look at the profits, you'll see that it goes from anything from 500 all the way up to 1,700. So the more important part is maybe the simples themselves. So in here, you can see the individual simples again, how many trades they've done, and also the net profits that we have. And then you can have a look at the losers and average wins and percentage winners. So in this particular case, let's first have a look at the net profits, and we'll do that. So the ones that have actually cashed in mostly on this particular EA, so is the CAD Swiss francs, 1,379, then Euro USD, and then it dropped a bit down to New Zealand USD. And if we have a look at some of the percentage winners, you'll see that they're actually not matching up. Actually, 63% is quite low for the CAD Swiss francs, but it's still on the net profit side. It's actually doing a lot better than the other ones. So if we have a look and see who ends up at the bottom, you can see the CAD Japanese only made 188. So every single currency pair is actually making money. So that is good to see. But if we have a look at the percentage of the winners in here, we'll see that the best one we have is 87%. So Great British Pounds USD, but actually net profit only 567. So you don't necessarily have the link in between high winning rate and also high profits. Again, it depends on both how many trades it have, and obviously these percentages is still extremely good. If we have a look at the lowest percentage, it was actually the CAD Swiss francs with 63%, and the next one 68 was the Euro AUD. And you can see, even though there's only 5% difference in here, then the Euro AUD has only made 392. So it's not necessarily a pointing stick that this particular one is better than the other one. And that's also why we have pretty much left the settings and the whole lineup similar to what Leap FX, the developers themselves, have put in here. So the graph looks like this, as you saw before. So very nice development overall. And it's time to go and have a look at the 10 pair one and see where we are compared to this. So with the 10 pair one, we have similar setup again here. This is link 146C. You can also have a look at there. And if we take a closer look, we can see the balance has now surpassed 30,000, 30,361 to be exact. The equity curve of this particular one is almost the same because we only have a floating profit and loss of minus $35 at the moment. So that's very good. Close profits more than 20,000, so 20,358. Very good. Plenty of free margins. And also here we are talking about a demo account that we set up in the early days. We can see the total returns 203%, monthly returns 8.5 and 2%. And again, also for this particular account, we are not changing the lot size, even though we could have. Now that it's triple the size, we should also use triple the lot size at the end of the day in order to keep within the same risk strategy. We haven't done that because you can actually go in and copy these particular signals, and you yourself can then change the profit factors in here as you are making more money. That's why we're also using demo accounts, and people are not too happy of using their live accounts because they want to increase the lot sizes to make sure that they get the same percentage of money every single month. We have some peak drawdowns of 19%. We're going to have a closer look at that. Trade wins is also above the 75% in here. And then pips, about 2,305 pips. Trades per day, there's obviously a bit less, 12, because you only have 10 pairs in here. And you can see the percentage of trades that are here. So for example, Euro USD 10.6% with 538 trades in total. All the currency pairs you have over here. So again, you can have a look, see which ones you like. You can pick them out. Also, if you go in later on, have a look at our website and then decide I don't want to trade these particular ones. You can see what it actually means when we go and have a look at the individual currency pairs. History, 401 days, as we talked about. Risk reward ratio is about 4. Worst day that we did was 3,153, but this particular one is in minus. And also worst week is minus 2,662. And I'm going to explain that because there was a bit of a hiccup in here. So it was a technical margin call that basically came to it very early on. So we're going to have a look at that. The worst month, 1746. So again, this comes down to that particular one and that I'm going to talk to you about. Trade lengths is about 25 hours. Average results is 4. Average wins $13 and average loss is 24. But because again, you see a trade win of 75%, quite high, then obviously it still comes out in a positive. So the balance is here, the $10,000, and we can see that it did quite well up until it cashed into 16,465, and then it had a bit of a drop in here, and we can't see what happened, but this has been the one and only time. So let's go and have a closer look at the equity curve here first. And again, the blue line that you see overlapping with the red from time to time, that is basically the balance. And then the red spikes when they are going down, that is the drawdowns. And you'll see here also that it had a drawdown for when it was around the 16,000 mark. It had a drawdown of the equity all the way down to 7,800. That means a couple of trade closed actually in minus. And that's the reason why you see we are dropping the balance down to 13,377. After that, we only have minor drawdowns, some minor peaks, very short ones in here. And if we turn it upside down, so we only get the floating profits, it gets a bit easier to read. So in the beginning, it had one of 2,700, had another one of 3,500, and then this is the big one here at minus 5,500, which was obviously giving it a bit of trouble. Had another one at 2,899. And since then, things have been going quite well. The biggest one here, 1,689. So only small ones, recent one, 1,300. So this was back in April. And since then, they have only been minor going all the way through. So obviously a very good development for this particular EA so far. Let's have a look at the stats in here also. Same stats as we just talked about before. You can see the monthly returns, the history, floating profits looking better at minus 32 here, so not too bad. And then another return, 203% for that. If we go down and have a look at the bank profits, again, we had one losing day. So basically that particular day where it closed a couple of trades, it was in minus. So 303 days of winning, one losing day. And then we have 54 winning weeks. And that particular week where we also had that issue was obviously a loss. And then 13 months of profits. And we have one that actually lost out a bit. But in the past many months, things have been looking quite well. Winners, 3,852, making a profit of more than $50,000 in here. Quite good. The losers were 1,328, and we actually lost about 30,000 in here. So all trades, 5,084, and $20,361 was actually what has been made so far. It looks like we lost a lot, but on the other side, we also gained even more. And at the end of the day, that is still what it's about, and also how this EA is set up. If we go through the day, again, we see it was started on the same day as the 22 pair in here. So 18th of May, and then cashing in. So in the middle of the month, if we have a look at the weekly side, we'll see again that this particular one here is doing 2,800 trades per week, 122, 130. And I'm sure we'll find 126, 124, 135 up here. So it trades quite frequently, there's no doubt about it. The net profits on the individual weeks, there's a few with 1,000, here's 1,400. This is where we actually lost a bit of money on that particular week. The minus 2,662. And you can see since then it has been going quite well. 1,100 for that particular one, 1,200 here. And other ones, it's 800, then 200, and then shoots up again. So again, it is stable, but once in a while, there's actually some extra profits to be made over time. If we go to the month, again, we started off in May, and the amount of trades this one is doing is slightly lower than the 22 pair, because obviously there's only 10 pairs here. So again, about 400 and 300, 400. So yeah, somewhere between 200 and 500 is what you should expect to come in. If we have a look at the net profits, they are basically running from, let's see, the 1 month that was on the low side. So this was back in August. And then we had in June, which was a bad month, $685 only, all the way up to $3,500, which was last in July. So it did quite well. Also in November, $2,500. So it's definitely been cashing in. You can see it also in the percentage parts, how much it has done over time. And if we have a look at the individual winners and see where we're ending up, we can see the best month was 83%. So this particular one was for October 2023. And then it runs all the way down to 68%, and that was in November. So somewhere again between 83 and 68. So a good average of over 75 is definitely quite well done. And the symbols, now that we only have 10 in here, you'll see again the different currency pairs. You can see the amount of trades that is being done. So about 800 is the top one, Great British Pounds, Japanese, very volatile currency in here for sure. And we can also see the net profits. So let's go and have a look at the net profits to see where most of the profit comes from. Aussie USD actually. So 3,800 is Great British Pounds USD, and then Euro USD 3,182. And if we have a look at the individual winners, which is over here, 69, 76, and 79. So let's go and just sort this one out and see where we end up. So the winning rate for the Great British Pounds Japanese is actually 81. So that is quite good. You can also see the profit, 2,115. And then it drops down here. I believe this is the biggest one. So Great British Pounds USD, 3,800 is a good one. And we have 76%, and goes all the way down to 69%. And then go and have a look here. Aussie USD actually still made a nice profit, the highest profit of all of them. So that's why we are keeping the setup and the currency pairs in the same range and settings as the original developers. They seems to be onto something that we don't really want to make too much of a change upon, because it seems to be working week after week, month after month, and that's exactly what we are looking for. You can see again the graph here without all the other interruptions. This is where we had a margin call in here, closed a couple of trades. After that, it has simply been smooth sailing all the way through. And you can also see that the drawdown, even on the $10,000 account, was well within the acceptable levels. So to try and sum everything up here for what we just gone through, basically the 22 pair is doing quite well, has never really had a margin call or anything else in the 400 days plus here that it has been running. You can also see the monthly profits. And those particular net profits that you have in here goes anywhere from about $400 or $500 all the way up to about $2,500. If you go and have a look on individual months, yes, the first month here was half a month was 700, which is 7%. If you are looking at a $10,000 account at all times, 25% on the next month, and so on, so on. The last couple of months that we have seen in 2024, where it made 400, 700, and then 500 and 500 in here, is basically again 5-6%. That's also why we have made some lot changes in here. You will actually see that for the month of June we're already up by 500, so that also means we still have another part of the month left, and we should end up somewhere maybe around 800 or 1,000. That is basically the percentage that we are looking for this particular EA. Somewhere in the area of about 8-10%, all the way up to 15, but at the moment that is left for the 22 pair, being a bit higher, a bit more aggressive, because we only have 10 pairs instead of the 22 in here. But everything is basically set up, so very, very easy to see and understand how that works. Similar part is for the 10 pair one. What are the currency in there? We actually don't want to make any changes of it. You can see the net profit is a bit higher, because again, we can be a bit more aggressive. We only have 10 pairs to cover, not 22. And that also means that the lot size that we are running here still matches up very nicely with a $10,000 account. But again, we have to be a bit more cautious. When you have more currencies, you also have a chance of higher drawdowns at the end of the day. And you'll see here that for June, we have $616 coming in at the time of this video is being shot. There's another half a month to go. So again, we should be in the area of, let's say, 10 to 12% for this particular month. And that is a good stable results over long periods of time. And you cannot really wish anything better for that particular EA. We have seen the 10 pair one. Yes, it went off, had a short little margin call. But we have also seen that the EA will work in most other environments. And most other environments, you will certainly have gone through quite a few, as you have seen here in 400 days. Drawdowns are extremely good compared to what we saw in recent months. The Forex market always changes, so you have to be wary, but it's entirely up to you, of course, how you want to trade this EA. We are just showing our results and what we've gotten out of it. So based on this, you obviously have the opportunity to go in for Trade Explorer on the copy link service with Expert Forex. You can find our 22 pair link in there as link 145C, or you can find the 10 pair link as 146C in here. And then you can decide if you want to basically run 1-to-1, if you want to halve the risk compared to what we have, or if you want to increase the risk, you can do so also. It's entirely up to you, as long as you remember that you're in control of it yourself. There's also another option, and that means that if you want to try this EA on your own, you can go and buy it. We'll give you a link also in the video description below here. You can get a 5% discount, so that will help also for this particular channel. So we thank you very much if you choose that particular line. But at the end of the day, don't forget that this is risk. So this is not investment advice. This is not trading advice. You and you alone are responsible for your own trading, for your own investments. So make sure that you don't use any money for this particular experiment that you need for day-to-day operations with either your family, kids, school, education, and so on. We are just showing what we have done. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but it looks very bright. It looks very stable. As long as you don't squeeze this particular EA too much, I'm sure it will be very nice to you, as it has been to us over long periods of time. And that's basically what we wanted to show you in this particular video here. You can see we have traded more than 400 days on this particular one. We have done it on 2 different types of settings with 22 and 10 pair ones. The best one has done already more than 200% profits. That is well beyond if you were investing in the S&P 500. Normally that is somewhere around 7-8% mark in here. And you've just seen that we have made more than 200% in 13 months. Trade wins are extremely high, which we really like, because that also helps us believe more in the EA. So over 75% is extremely high. And then obviously the profit that is in there is not just on the demo account, because we have plenty of other people that have been copying these signals for long periods of time with real live money similar to us. So definitely this particular EA, it seems to work over long periods of time. We are happy with it, and we are also happy putting money in, so of our own, of course, and the investor seems to have done the same. So I hope this video was helpful to get you to understand the Trade Explorer and actually put some of the very good things on this particular EA forward. And don't forget to have a look at some of the videos again if you are interested, and if you are a bit more curious about how this operates, how this works for the future. And you can even find, as I mentioned, installation procedures also for how you get started if you have any issues with this. So until my next video, I hope to see you on one of my other ones. Bye bye.